Hi, gang, sexy. Let's jump back into the Ardennes here. Right off the bat, sorry. You're going to have to listen to my PLA printer here running in the background, or my FDM, whatever you want to call it. But it's been running here for a few hours. I don't want to stop it, so hopefully it doesn't make any loud noises. Anyhow, so we decided to go down the Battle of the Bulge Road, obviously, because it's December, and that's what seems like most of us do when December gets here. I started a couple days late, though. But I was looking on my game shelf, and I said, man, I got Bitter Woods there, and I've never played that game. And I don't want to say that I've heard anything bad about the game. I think I've only heard good things about the game. So, and I know a buddy of mine that he's got it, and he has a big blown-up version of it, and they played the daylights out of it. So I said, okay, well, let's get it on the table and set it up. And I was looking at the rule book, and I was like, wow, there's really only like 9.5, 10, maybe 11 pages of rules for, just to play the game. And then you got some optional, and then you got some variant rules. Now, I'm not using any variants, but I am using pretty much most all of the optional rules, except those leaders. I can't find any serviceable purpose for those leaders. So maybe I'm missing something. But when I first laid the game on the table, while granted it's not an identical looking thing, but the first thing that came to my mind was when I played Ardennes 44. And I'm not knocking the game, because all of that 4X stuff, World War II 4X stuff that Mark has done, most all of them I still, there's a few, like France 40 is one of my favorite ones that I've played. And I really liked Ukraine 43, and I still had a couple others to play. I just struggled with the Ardennes 44. Some of my buddies seem to think maybe it's because I have an earlier version of it. Maybe I need to get the more updated version. But anyhow, when I laid these maps out, that was the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, oh, Lord, please don't. I don't want to have an experience that was unfortunately bad for me playing that. But this has not been. As a matter of fact, I was chit-chatting with the guys last night, and I was telling Andrew and Brian that this game might be easier to approach than the SCS, First Ardennes, or some of the regular SCS systems out there. This game is it's not overbearing on the depth of the rules, but it's got decent details. It's got some decent optional rules that can sort of change the flow of the game. However, I am 5 turns in. I'm starting the 6th turn now. I'm getting ready to execute German movement. And the strategic victory levels for the Germans in this game are Bastogne, Marsch, and Sunbeath. And then 6 mechanized units, 3 of which need to be straight armored units, straight tank units, across the Meuse and off the map. So, knowing that, the first thing I told myself when I started to play this, because it's obviously all Bulge games are Germans do all the fighting or the attacking, and the Americans sit around and take a beating and take a beating and take a beating until they start to get the numbers on the map. So, and that is pretty much the reality for all Bulge games, when you're playing campaign stuff that I've seen at this scale. Now, Wacht am Rhein SPI, different thing. And I'd love to get that out and play that thing there, but I don't know, who knows, maybe I'll play a one-map scenario on that. So I told myself, okay, Germans, you're going to go balls to the wall, and we're going to break whatever holes we can, and we're going to get the mech units and the tanks across the Meuse and off the map. So, I'm going to turn the camera here just a little bit. So we are 5 turns in. Like I say, getting ready to start the 6th turn, and I want you to look right here. 1 mech unit's off the map. 2 mechanized units are sitting right here. The 3 tank units that were headed that way are sitting right here. See all this green? Well, guess what? This was the 101st that came on. This was 82nd come on. There was no thought with the current setup I had, or the current aggressiveness of the Germans, that these guys were going to go to Bastogne, and these guys were going to go up into the Manhay, Vilsomme, or whatever area up in there, La Roche, all that's hopefully east. There was no way. So I thought to myself, man, these units now, they'll get off the map. But they're out of supply, so they don't count. Okay? And he would be considered out of supply right now because of this block that the Americans have set up. So your supply is 4 hexes to a road, and then the road has a continuous path all the way back to the east edge of the map up there. Yeah, east edge. Okay, so we've blocked them off. I started stripping what I could from the flanks. Started stripping what I could from the flanks. Just gave up totally on Bastogne. Couldn't get these units far enough out from 4th Infantry. Stripped whatever I could from 10th Armored. Sent them as far and as fast as I could that way. Trying to bring on stuff from the 30th Infantry. And we've got 7th Armored over there. Just pretty much giving up what I had, almost everything I could in the middle of the battlefield because I need to stop these crossings over the river. The Allies they're starting to get their reinforcements. Another couple of turns, and the Germans will get a couple more SS divisions. They'll get the 9th and they'll get the 2nd. And they get some other mech stuff, and so they get some of the Führersguard stuff. And then they get the 10th SS will show up on the 20th. So depending on what happens right here, I think that this next turn with these armored units sitting right where they are, all right, we've made the push. The first 3 units are there at exitability, okay? Now here comes the tactical quandary. First, I got to break up all the airborne here. And I need to get more forces, which I got a good section of forces right here below my finger that could move in here and set up that wall. But I've got to open up these roads and keep them open, get the tanks off the map, get the mech off the map. The minute that happens, the game's over if they are in supply. And it's a German strategic victory, which is the highest victory they can get, okay? The tactical version of this victory is 3 units off the map, and one of them has to be a full tank unit. So, or 3 mechanized units, one of them has to be a full tank unit. But like I say, the Americans now are starting to get their reinforcements. When Monty's boys come on, sure would be nice if I could convince them to cross the Meuse, but I don't see that happening. So we're going to see how this changes right now. I think this turn here will define what's going on. Now, I haven't read anything different or not, but once these units get off the map, obviously they're going to be out of supply until I open the gap back up. But at any moment that gap gets open, and if these tanks get off, they suddenly become in supply and the game's over. So it looks to me like most of the fighting might be around here near Dinant, Celle, which is where it pretty much ended anyhow. Cenis, Givet, those towns right in there. The 101st and 82nd, their whole historical location during the Ardennes offensive has dramatically changed in this one here. So, yeah, I got to push the Germans up there and open those pockets up, and then I got to try to pinch it off with the Americans. Which, like I say, with the amount of forces they got coming on, in a few turns the Brits are going to get a lot, and they may able to, and they're going to stay on this side of the Meuse more than likely. So they could possibly cut off this supply here too. So the Germans need to work extremely fast, open this gap up, get those tanks off the battlefield, and get the victory before the Americans can build such a wall that they'll never get it open again. All right. So this is Bitter Woods. This is the deluxe edition, I believe. The designers edition. So I know a lot of you guys have played this, a lot of you guys have had this. So give me your feedback on what you remember about your play of this game, whether you enjoyed it, whether you did not enjoy it, what you thought of what I think are very nice and simple rules, very nice optional rules, and even some of the variants look cool, but like I said, I'm not using the variants. And tell me what you thought of this, and tell me what your outcome was in this game. All right, it's Hexy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 turns in. Get this posted. Talk to you soon.